I'm
That's
also
funny
like,
because of something else I'm thinking. Because you always say how you have like the Filipino calves, and they're just like
what the fuck? Hello and welcome back to the Nuanced AF pod. I'm Juan.
I'm Lex.
And we are two highly empathetic people who are always trying to find nuance in everything because everything is nuanced AF. I'm kind of going to go a little bit backwards today, and you'll see why in a second. Because I believe it was this morning, you actually sent me a TikTok to watch, which I did while I was happily taking my morning crap, as one does. And it was about,
Of course.
it was a longer one, so I don't know if I don't think we should like just watch it here. I'll just kind of summarize it. But it was the one about attractiveness as a hobby.
Oh yeah.
And you asked me like what my thoughts were like on that. Before let's give some context as to like how this person presented it.
Yeah.
She was talking about her sister, how she's very like traditionally beautiful and attractive.
And like her sister was the standard, like for her beauty standard, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she started making the comparison of like, oh, while she had like those features, she also like kind of like worked at it a little bit. Like she knew what clothes fit her body well, what maybe colors to use that complemented her.
Yeah, like
and,
skincare.
Right.
Yeah.
And realized that like, I think she made the direct comparison of like when, the person talking about her sister was learning things like how to knit, her sister was learning skincare. I believe that was one of the comparisons she made. And the argument was like basically that like you can be attractive, you just have to like make it your hobby to do so.
Yeah, like it's attractiveness to an extent is like a hobby.
Yeah.
Where it's like you learn the makeup and the clothes and the skincare and all the things.
Yeah.
Like I had that thought where you know how you say like your hair is like your best quality a lot of the time, like, and I feel like that's definitely true. Like you put a lot of effort into your hair. Like
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I think that
I'm freshly cut.
Yeah. Currently, right now.
yeah, literally. Like hours ago, I was cutting my own hair.
Yeah. So I think there is like a grain of truth to that.
I do too. I think I have. I'm a good person to ask about this because one, I'm a man. No.
Okay.
And I think, traditionally men, their appearance kind of takes a back seat to like more like, what can you do and like what can you offer?
Yeah.
Like what are your skills as opposed to, how do you look? Whereas like with women, it's kind of the opposite. It's like, traditionally.
Yeah, so that's like stereotypically. The case.
How you look more or less determines your value.
Yeah, like stereotypically.
Like, hopefully we're getting away from that.
Yeah.
But, that it is something that has been a thing.
Yeah.
So for me, I wouldn't say I've made being attractive a hobby because, I don't think I am the one to judge if I am attractive or not. But I do put in effort probably more than the average straight male.
I would agree with that. You put in quite a bit of effort.
Looking presentable.
Yeah, I would say presentable because I don't think you put in like a ridiculous amount of effort, but I do think you put in effort for sure.
I do think like I said, I do think I put in more than the average does. I don't have like a super intense skincare routine, but I do, in the shower I have a facial cleanser and then afterwards, like if I'm shaving, even if I don't shave, I put this moisturizer on, which kind of does double as sunscreen a little bit, but that's really it. That's all I do. But yes, like you alluded to, I do take a lot of pride in my hair. I do think it is my
best asset,
physical trait, and that's where like I will I will sacrifice my time, my money,
Yeah.
my effort to like keep it looking good.
Yeah, you've even gone so far sometimes as to like get like thickeners and things like to make your
Yeah.
hair. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, to make it.
yeah. So
Whether
I
that
might,
works, I guess, is debatable.
yeah, I might get a little backlash on this, but I do use Old Spice products because one, I do like the way they smell, but like, and I don't know, this is most likely a marketing like tactic that I've fallen for, but the shampoo and conditioner and even the little pomade that they have all say like thickening, which I have like very thin straight hair. I do a lot to like give it volume, and like that volume
You do so much to the
gone
point.
in an instant if it gets
Yeah.
wet, like by rain or snow.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like the way you do your hair, it seems like it's natural, but to get that natural look, it's a lot of effort.
That's the thing, and I think
yeah, it's a lot.
I think women who like put on a lot of makeup might
Oh yeah.
might relate. I might relate to them in this
Yeah.
way, where it's just like I'm putting effort to look like this is just naturally how
Yeah.
my hair is.
Yeah.
I don't think that's like deceitful or anything, but like
No, I just think it's like this is how you want
this
to
is just-
present.
yeah.
Same with makeup. Where
Yeah.
like I've never been one to like really ever wear makeup. Like,
that might be a whole other
whole
episode
other
right
thing.
here of like
Yeah.
makeup, the nuance behind like wearing it.
Yeah. That's funny.
Kind of like the back and forth of like how people have felt about it throughout
Oh yeah.
at least our lifetime.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and then, no shade to anybody who wears makeup. Like, if you like makeup, like, by all means, go for it.
Like,
do your thing, but.
Okay, I'll touch on it a little bit now, but like I remember like in like the early 2000s, like it was a whole like kind of movement against makeup, being like, oh, you don't need makeup to like look pretty. You look pretty naturally, and that's a great sentiment for sure. But
Yeah.
I do think now it's kind of like the pendulum's swinging the other way, where it's just like, hey, if makeup makes you feel pretty, if makeup makes you feel fancy, go for it.
Yeah, if you like the way you look with makeup, go for it.
Yeah, what matters is you, how you feel.
Yeah, for real. For me, ironically, it always goes back to texture. I hated the texture of makeup. Like, my mom always wanted me to wear makeup. Or like, really it was just, I think she wanted like the bonding experience of like, oh, I get to teach my daughter how to do makeup or like whatever. I just had no interest, like zero. Because like, I don't know, ultimately it was always just like, I felt better without it. Like, that was always sort of how it was. But I love when people do their makeup, men, women, whatever. But like, I can realize, oh, you put in a lot of effort. That's really cool. Like, good for you. But I'm not doing that. Like, that's not for me. Like, I want simple skincare routine. That is all. Like, like a good amount of water, that'll do wonders for your skin. Like,
I do have some products if like for some reason I am regressing to a teenager and I am breaking out bad, like I'm breaking bad.
Breaking, yeah.
I do have like, I believe it's like a foundation and then like I don't know, something that will like kind of like make myself not as like look like I'm a teenage boy.
I've definitely I'm more like pimple patch person.
Yeah.
If I do anything, but even then I'm just like, thankfully I don't break out nearly as much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I used to break out like quite a lot when I was a teenager, but even like preteen. But now it's mostly just like, oh, if I'm around like my period, like that kind of time zone, then I'll break out. But at that point, it's mostly just like, it's mostly like cystic acne, like underneath. And even that, thankfully, I don't have terrible cystic acne. It's just like hormonal, like around my period. But yeah, I do think the TikTok is really interesting because it kind of like discusses like how much is attractiveness really. Like, I think to an extent, like, some people are just beautiful, right?
Oh,
like, yeah, some people just are gorgeous, but I also think that you can be seen as attractive by others because of the effort you're putting in.
I do think the person who was originally talking about this was trying to present it in a way where it's just like attractiveness is not innate. It is a hobby that you can work on.
I think both are true.
I was gonna say, like, I'm a little bit more
nuanced, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little bit more in the sense where like both can exist, where like you can be like naturally gifted with like very like desirable like features, proportions, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you can also work at enhancing what you wear, as far as clothes, makeup, accessories, things that will like really accentuate and bring out you know, those features.
Yeah.
Or the opposite direction, if there's something like you'd want to like conceal or whatnot. That's another thing too, where like you know how to leverage your appearance basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a good TikTok to like find the nuance in. This will be linked in the show notes of the show, which you can find in the description of the YouTube video if you're watching there, or like I said, the show notes of wherever you're listening to this too.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I was just like, gotta send it to Juan.
Yeah.
Oh, I do think it was interesting that her friend in the video, like, kind of felt like that made her feel more insecure somehow.
Oh, yes.
Like,
so there was a part
that was interesting
where I guess the person who originally who was presenting this told her friend about this epiphany that she had.
told her friend group.
And that friend didn't like it because that meant something she thought was out of her control
was now in her control.
And that almost like feels like the blame is now on her.
Yeah, which I can see how you could read it that way, even if that wasn't like how she meant it.
Right.
I do feel like that there's a lot more nuance to that.
Sorry, the sun's hitting my eye, and I'm just moving this mirror out the way. Oh, I have reached the limits.
You have reached the capacity
there we
of
go.
the movement
I just had
of
to
the
move
mirror.
it down. There, now I can see out of both eyes.
It's like directly in your line of sight.
Yeah. So if I was looking bright on camera, that's why.
Downsides of doing this in the car, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though it is nice to get some.
I mean, it is also, it's January.
Yeah.
So, you know, the sun's still setting like quite early for us.
Yeah, and it, you know, we are doing this somewhat late, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but dude, I mean, we do this at the same time in like June,
it'll be fine.
Oh my God, we'll
hours.
have plenty of daylight left.
Hours of daylight left, which is kind of insane.
Right. So.
But yeah, I could talk about that for a while. That one. So if you want to move on, please do.
Any final thoughts you just want to give?
No, I think I'm good. I think I'm
I'll
good
say
with
this:
leaving it there.
You're beautiful as is, but if you want to make it a hobby, make attractiveness a hobby, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
Have, enjoy the makeup, enjoy the clothes, enjoy the skincare, all the things.
Yeah. Take pride in how you look, and when I say that, I don't mean like, never change anything.
Yeah.
If there's something you want to, or like I said, you want to explore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like you could even go the route of plastic surgery. Like if you feel like I feel like that's a little bit something.
That's very nuanced
that
right
is
there.
Very nuanced too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's also a piece of this, I feel like. But, we don't have to talk about that now.
I don't mind. Do you want to briefly touch on it?
I guess briefly. Briefly
okay.
is fine, because that could be a long conversation too.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like plastic surgery is fine as long as like you're not getting out of hand with it, and by out of hand I mean like none of your systems are collapsing, like because you're getting too much
problems.
Yeah, health problems.
Right.
Yeah, like if you get too many nose jobs.
Yeah,
like
I think that's a good objective line.
Yeah.
Whereas like otherwise, like if you like the way you look, then I am, who am I to judge?
Say,
like even if I personally don't like,
100%
the plastic surgery that has been done, if it makes you feel better and like you feel like you look good, there's nothing wrong.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
It's like I think with health problems, like that's not great.
Yeah.
If it's like you've gotten to the point where like you are addicted to it, that's obviously a problem.
Yeah.
But generally, like if you want to do your lips or your butt or your nose or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like, if it makes you feel better, go for it. Like, live your truth. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
I think definitely in today's age with like, well, I'm not going to pretend like I know what it's like to like live in Hollywood and whatnot, but I'm sure there's like immense pressure to get something done.
I feel like that's kind of the joke, right? That everybody has a new nose. Like, that's kind of the joke of it.
Yeah.
That like no one who went there has the exact same nose as when they,
I mean, you know, my greatest inspiration, Michael Jackson, you know, famously known for like all the cosmetic stuff that's been done. I'm sure what he claims he's had done is probably a lot more than he lets on to.
Oh, 100%. Because eventually it gets, I'm sure, embarrassing to a point where you're like, I don't want to admit that I had like, you know, hundreds of plastic surgeries to my face, but, you know, I feel like it's unrealistic to say that he didn't have any, because I feel like that's just categorically untrue.
Yeah.
But I feel like, like there needs to be a level of discretion, I think, when it comes to like plastic surgery, and I like when plastic surgeons kind of look at the structure of a person's face and they're like, oh, this would look good like with the person's face, not just like blanketing like, oh, this is what's trendy or whatever. Like having big lips versus small lips, or, you know, that kind of thing.
I go with the same thing I go with all the time, where it's just like, if it makes you happy, who am I to judge?
Like, I'm not going to judge anybody for anything they get done. Like, it's like, whatever, if it makes you happy, do your thing. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it's not your body, so
exactly,
whatever.
Cool. Let's move on to, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to delete my TikTok videos even though my partner is jealous of the views?
Just of the views?
Yeah.
Okay.
I recently started posting on TikTok just for fun, and some of my videos have been getting views. Nothing huge, but enough that people are engaging with them. My partner has been trying to become famous online for years. He posts content and he really wants to, quote-unquote, make it, but it hasn't worked out with him so far. Since my videos started getting attention, he's been noticeably jealous. He's made comments about how it's unfair because he's been trying longer and that I don't deserve all the attention as much as he does. What really hurt me was when he said, quote, he deserves nicer things than me, unquote, because he's been working toward fame longer.
Oof. Okay.
I don't brag or rub it in his face. I was excited at first and thought he'd be supportive, but instead it feels like he's competing with me and resenting me. I've confronted him about it, but he just keeps telling me how I'm mean and that I should try to be in his shoes. So now I'm wondering, am I the asshole for refusing to delete my TikTok videos even though it upsets him?
No, you're not.
I agree. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
That
he needs to get over his insecurities.
This person, I want to assume woman, but doesn't
specify.
This person is not the asshole.
Yeah, they're not the asshole. No, not at all.
Yeah,
the partner is. Yeah, the partner needs to work through his insecurities 100%.
And okay, listen.
That's not it.
Here's how I relate to this, because I am the content creator here.
Yeah.
And I have been doing it for quite some time. I've tried many different niches, and I've found varying levels of success and even more varying levels of nothing or failure.
Nothing.
Yeah. Of like, I put my heart and soul into this and it got 10 views, and I'm just like...
The deadpan of that was good.
Yeah.
The delivery was
good. I spent
good.
weeks editing this, and it got 6
We've
likes.
had many a talk about this, though, that like... Of course, that is a bit disheartening, obviously, but I think ultimately it comes down to the love of the craft, right?
Yeah.
A lot, mostly for you, anyway.
Yeah.
Which maybe it sounds like this person, there isn't as much of that. Maybe some of this is for, clout, or like, just getting famous, or whatever. We don't really know the motivations exactly, but
there's not enough information on that. We can only speculate a little bit.
Yeah, we can only speculate with with all the Am I the Assholes, it's the same way. But for you, we've had the conversations where it's like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Either way, you find this like a valuable pursuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because like that's who I am at my core.
Mm-hmm.
I find that I do love creating things that are meaningful to me, that I find entertaining. I think others will find enjoyment, entertainment, connection. It can range from something super silly, like a super silly like inside joke,
Yeah.
or something like really deep, meaningful art that maybe there's a story there that I think is very much worthwhile to make, to tell.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely is disheartening. Sometimes, a lot of times, but I don't know. I can't see myself stopping.
I feel like because that's who you are. Like that's just, you can't stop even when there is like some level of failure there.
Yeah.
Because you just always want to be creating.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of the thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what keeps me going. Like that's where I feel like I'm living life. And another thing I found out about myself quite recently, within the past like couple years, is that I might be starting to realize I might be one of those people where it's, I really thought I wanted to like do this for a living. And I still do, but with like an asterisk. It's just, I want to create for myself. I'm happy to help others create things. But I played like the role of like a video editor, and while I can like edit videos and stuff like that and like create content like that, it gets to a point where like I start to kind of internally panic if like I don't have time for myself and like the things that I want to work on.
Yeah, and time does always seem in limited supply. So.
Yeah. Now, granted, I haven't been in a position where they're just like, "Yep, we want you to edit these videos, and you're gonna make 6 figures." My opinions might change if I start seeing that money rolling.
True.
But also, like, I mean, I have had like good paying jobs. But the thing is, like, also like, now I worry about the opposite problem where like if there is like that, if I am making like bank, I'm also worried.
Pressure.
That's pressure. It's just like, oh shit, I have to produce something that is worth this.
Yeah.
And now I don't know if I can do it.
That's where like your imposter syndrome comes in quite a bit.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
Crippling imposter syndrome.
I think you can't be an artist without having imposter syndrome, to be honest with you. I think like any artist at some level has imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because like you have to start from somewhere, and maybe you can, and people do get to a level where you are successful. You may not feel that as much, but I still think that there's always echoes of that.
Yeah. I know I'm biased because I'm me, but I do feel like my imposter syndrome is worse than others. Like,
I mean, it's hard too because you're in your head.
Yeah, it gets to a point where like we've had this discussion where like I do feel like I'm in my own way in many ways. And
that's a hard thing to admit, let alone deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when I tell you like this stuff, I don't feel like it's a lack of confidence in me per se. Like I know what, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but like I still know like my value and my worth and like what I can do, but I also like that gets lost when it actually comes time to, if someone asks me, "Hey, can you do this?" I'm just like, "Oh fuck."
You're like, "Can I do it?"
Please don't put any expectations on me, please.
Yeah, I do get that. I do definitely get that. Because there's a level of, you have to work with people, and there needs to be some level of collaboration, and sometimes that can lead to like vulnerability, and that's scary. So that creates its own sort of set of issues and problems. And while that's like rewarding, it's also terrifying.
Yeah. That, I mean, okay, you hit on something that plays into another bigger issue with me. Is like I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I like pleasing people, but it may be more accurate. Like, I am more afraid of disappointing people than I am wanting to please people. Like, I fear that more.
Yeah.
I fear disappointing people more than I want to please people. So, obviously, in my mind, I think it's a win-win if I just start off on the right foot of people pleasing some others, because then I feel like that sets me so far away from like the other end, which is disappointing others, which that, you know, just the thought of that like breaks me.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before where I think in some ways, like, because I've experienced my own level of like people pleasing and things like that, where like I think that it's a bit harder with you, I think, because it's kind of like ingrained into your personality a bit more.
Yeah.
I feel like
Everything's kind of weaved together.
It is, because you are a very kind and empathetic person, but then is that level of like people pleasing that you are afraid of disappointing people, so you don't want obviously to you know, make anyone feel any type of way.
I'm not people pleasing just to be a people pleaser. Like, I truly do, like, you know, like we start off every show saying we're empathetic people.
Yeah.
Like, I do have empathy for others, and like,
and compassion.
I want to do what I feel like is, you know, the right thing, and
like, you do have like a set of moral like compass.
Yeah.
You know, your own moral compass that you go by. For sure. So that's what it is. Very like interwoven, like you said. It's hard to dissect what was what, and like it's funny because this is where we always say like we're similar, we're different. We're like, I can relate to your people pleasing because I've been there, but I was never a people pleaser because like that was who I am as a personality trait. I did it as like a coping mechanism.
I think, do you think it's accurate if I say you do people please, whereas I am a people pleaser?
Yeah. Like, and I've definitely gotten quite a bit away from people pleasing, mostly because like it started to feel very inauthentic. And also like I got more comfortable with the fact that sometimes people are not going to like me.
Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate where most of the time people do, but I also feel like kind of tying this back to what we were first talking about with the whole, is beauty a hobby versus, you know, whatever, like innate or X, Y, Z, but kind of like how I kind of always try to put my best foot forward in terms of like being compassionate and understanding with other people. So I do think that does lend itself to people liking me. But also I've always had this, I don't know, just like this way, the people who are just drawn to me in a lot of ways. Like they'll tell me like their life story, or, you know, they'll tell me very, very personal details.
I've seen that firsthand.
Yeah, multiple times. Like we'll just be in public and that happens. And I don't know. That's always been how it's been, even when I was like, you know, a preteen, a teen. Like it's always been that way.
I think you have a cool theory about like vibrations and like how like people vibrate in the world. Like
but it's not even my theory. It's like that is a theory that people discuss, that some people are high vibration versus low vibration.
Feel that frequency maybe like I don't know, subconsciously.
Yeah, that the high vibration is just like people like you, animals like you, kids like you. Like I've always had that kind of thing, and but I also think it's dual, where it's like I do try to actually be a good person. Like like it's not. Yeah. I don't know any other way to be. No,
you go ahead.
Like I have a harder time setting aside like my compassion and my empathy than I do like, I don't know, being apathetic. Like that's harder for me, being apathetic. Like, and I feel like you do have to know when to draw that line a lot of the time, but that's hard, and I'm not very good at it a lot of the time. Where it's like I always feel like I need to. I'm always leading with like compassion, and like empathy and understanding, and but yeah, like I digress. But I do think that on some level there is that essence of similarity between like the beauty being like a hobby, and then
that's what I was gonna say. We're like just the idea of like you can naturally be something and then nurture it further.
Yeah, I think that's like the core of that, and that's sort of kind of me too, who I am. And I think like, yeah, you also, like, we in a lot of ways exemplify like similar characteristics in one another. Like you're you are a very like compassionate and understanding person, but then like there is that core of it to an extent that you do people please and all these things. So much so that you get in your way sometimes. Yeah, and that's hard. It's a hard thing to think about.
Yeah. I know we talked about like fight or flight, and then how you're like there's actually a few more. There's like freeze and fawn, I think.
Yeah, freeze and fawn.
And when I saw the definition of fawn, I was like, oh my god, I fawn all the fucking time.
I was more of a fawn when I was a kid. Now I'm not as much of a. I am, but I'm not. It kind of depends on the situation for me.
I do see fawning as the sort of quickest path to people pleasing, to sort of disengaging, disarming any like potential
threats. Yeah, 100%. And sometimes that is a bit of a skill as well, like getting on somebody's good side, or like even if you don't agree with someone, getting onto their good side and being like, oh, I understand like where you're coming from. Like I do that all the time, and in my job.
Yeah, it's both like people pleasing for me, but also like self-preservation. If like I'm just like, okay, realistically, I'm not trying to like I don't know, poke any bears here.
Yeah.
So like if you're telling me something that I completely disagree with, I might try to like divert into maybe the next subject to maybe get us off that, or I might try to this is usually a little harder, but not impossible. Try to find common ground without agreeing with you directly. Like and without also invalidating you either. Yeah,
like, which I think that is sort of...
Now that's a skill right there.
That's skill, yeah. That's hard.
You've got to learn how to do that.
Yeah. Because that's like disarming without creating like a big scene, really. That's like I feel like in some ways underrated, how to deal with conflict.
It's funny. I don't think I saved it, but I saw this TikTok. I think it was a TikTok or just something I saw online where someone basically said, I think they worked like a customer service job, and like, let's say a customer was complaining about something. You as the worker would almost like complain with them. And I would absolutely do that to make it clear that like, hey, we are on the same side. Yeah, I see you.
I do that all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
I see you, and like I think this is bullshit too.
Yeah, like when people complain about raising the prices. I'm just like, I know. Can you believe it?
Yeah, so it's like
oh, look at this cat.
I know there's a cat.
Oh,
little black
so
cat.
Cute.
Don't bring us any bad luck.
Oh.
But no.
No, black cats aren't bad.
No, I like all cats. I just sneeze around them.
You are just very allergic to them. I love that cat. I see him all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if you have that moment of like, hey, we're on the same side, we see each other, it's quite disarming. And like, the saying misery loves company. Yeah. So I think, you have that moment.
That's very true. And like
at least you no longer become the target of their anger and frustration. Yes. It's like now you're on the same side, and it's just like, let's like mob together.
I think those conversations too are often very interesting because you get to the core of what that person's mad at too. It's like they're not really mad, like their anger is misdirected at you. Yeah. Like, so then when you realize, when you kind of hold it together, like the person that the anger is being directed toward, and then you're like, oh, like I understand like where you're coming from. I'm also frustrated. Yeah. That really shows the person.
Yeah, to like give it a visual, it's like instead of being in front of them as they're like directing their hate towards you, it's like you're stepping off to the side a little bit, and you're kind of being like, hey, I get it, I see you.
Yeah, I get you.
And so, and it's 100%. Like a win-win-win-win-win.
Yeah, exactly. And like a lot of times in those situations, like I cannot tell you how many times I've done that. And then people start talking about all their problems.
Yeah.
Like, because then they're like, oh, you're a safe person to talk to.
Yeah.
Like,
And like, I
like,
imagine like it would
crazy.
end with something like, I know it's not your fault, but what are we going to do, right?
100%,
And like,
yeah.
and it's just like,
Yeah,
hook,
yeah.
line, and sinker, baby.
Yep.
That's what you wanted.
Yep. Exactly. And it's a good way to like diffuse the situation, but it's
Yeah.
also a good way to, that person probably feels a little bit better. Like it's a little bit of a therapeutic moment, but
Yeah, they get to vent.
yeah, they get to vent. Yeah.
And like you are no longer the receiving end of like,
Yeah. And then maybe some understanding is garnered
Yeah.
from either side, like you understand a little bit more about what that person's feeling and they understand a bit more like about your perspective. And I think that that's oftentimes like people sometimes react first and get angry.
Yeah.
And like, then that's like just blind rage and that's like all they're seeing.
Yeah.
Instead of stepping back a moment and being like, oh, I'm not actually mad at you, customer service person, or like whomever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not the asshole for
That was long-winded, but
I know, refusing to delete your TikTok videos. No, let me try to bring this back here. So, because we got off on quite a tangent.
We did.
I very successfully made it about me.
No, but those are the important things because, like, low-key, like you make that joke, but you really don't talk about yourself that much. Like,
Well, I definitely try not. There's, oh man, here
Yeah.
we go again. Another whole, another like branch from this big ass tree that is me. I'm
that's
also
funny
like
because of something else I'm thinking. Because you always say how you have like the Filipino calves, and they're just like
what the fuck?
like that's just what it made me think of. Where it was just like you're like, oh, they reminded you of tree trunks, so that you're like, I'm a tree. And
Oh, okay.
You
I
see how
didn't
that
see the
re-
connection until
that's
now.
how
I'm
that
just
related.
like, what?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That, I found myself on that side of TikTok a little bit
really?
with them talking about like why Filipinos have like really thick calves because they all are doing like little squat exercises and stuff. Yeah. Anyway.
But another thing about me, besides my humongous calves, which I did not earn, like I'm not doing squats all the time. I play volleyball once a week.
Just genetics.
Yeah. I'm also very afraid of coming off as looking like I'm narcissistic or I'm self-centered or I'm full of myself. Like I'm very self-conscious about that. I don't want to appear that way, and because I think maybe at the root of it, I just don't like being misunderstood.
Yeah, and I do definitely see that for sure. And I think you almost do it to like a complete opposite side of like you so much so don't want to be misunderstood that you hardly say anything at all.
Or I over-explain.
Yeah, or you over-explain. Yeah, so it's like one way or the other.
Yeah. I'm very happy to over-explain and like make sure nothing is misconstrued. I'd rather do that than under-explain and then leave people guessing.
And that ties into the whole, you don't want to disappoint people.
Exactly.
So it just sort of goes from there. But
it's all interconnected, like a bunch of circles in one big circle.
Oh, 100%.
Like Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Gotta get back to that. Anyway.
Yes, we do.
Not the asshole.
They're not the asshole.
Yeah, they're not the asshole.
No, I would just say that their partner needs to do some work on themselves and needs to. Why does it bother you so much that this person is?
Yeah, I did also want to say, like, if this happened to us, I'd be thrilled. Because I'm just like, I knew it. Out of the two of us, like, if you started making content, oh my God, you'd be a star. You'd be a star. I see it in, like, interpersonal, like, relationships. I'm just like, yeah, you outshine me as you should.
I think it's funny because it's like,
which is why I want to do this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm trying to steal your clout.
That's funny because, like, I feel like you want it way more than me. Where this is even sometimes too much, or I'm just like, I don't really want that. Like, I've come to the terms with the fact that I like the idea of making content and stuff. For like a, like a little, I could do maybe like a little booktube or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cute. But anything more than that is like too much.
You know what? I feel like if you had like a little bit of an audience, you might be a good live streamer, you know, interacting with like chat and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like that might be more natural than like sitting down, maybe scripting something out, or like maybe even if it's not scripting out, just sitting down to like talk about something.
Better off the cuff for sure.
Yeah, if you have like, I know I'm this way too sometimes. Like that's why I couldn't do a podcast by myself. Like if I have like people to like bounce off of, that makes it a lot easier for me.
Yeah, which is what I think like this kind of is. It's like our dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, that we have like, this is like, I wouldn't even say like very exaggerated, to be honest. This is just sort of who we are.
Yeah.
As people, and we just sort of, you know, this is how we've built our relationship.
No, I'm so different in real life. I am a cocky prick. No.
Actually, you're different. You're different in the sense. No, you're not a cocky prick. You're different in the sense that you are quieter. In person. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, it's true.
You are always scanning, always looking around, always.
Yeah, if I don't know you, I'll be polite. I'll be like, you know, respectful. I'll be civil.
But you don't join conversation really, unless you're given a very explicit, like, yes, you can join.
Yeah, if I'm given an in, or like I feel safe to do so, I feel like I can contribute something.
Yeah.
Then yeah, but like I am not one to butt in.
Yeah.
Just because like I try to know my place, and I try to see if like that would be rude or whatnot. So and again, that's another thing. I don't want to make it about myself. I don't want to insert myself.
Yeah.
If it's not, I don't know, if it's not natural.
Yeah, and I'm as your partner, I am just saying too that it really is like, sometimes, not always, sometimes it comes off as you like shrinking yourself. And I know you're not doing it consciously. It just sometimes can come off that way. I kind of am. Yeah.
I try not to take up more room than I need, and then like now I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm about to say, and I know what I would say to someone if they said that same thing to me.
And I know you know.
I want to make room for others, and if for me that means like, you know, stepping out of the way and like shrinking a little bit, I'm okay with that. Now I know if someone said that to me, I would argue, be like, hey, you don't need to do that.
Be yourself.
Yeah, there's space for everyone.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe I gotta take my own advice.
You're a wallflower.
There you go. Yeah.
Very Bridgerton.
Lots of perks of being a wallflower.
Yeah, but yeah, and I don't think that's something that that I do think that happens quite a lot, like especially when we're in like mixed company.
Yeah.
I've noticed that for sure. Consistently, you're like that, and I feel like that's the thing that most people like when it comes to like people in my life, like that you obviously know because you know you're my partner, right? But that's like their constant refrain is that they believe you're nice and kind and compassionate and understanding and all these things because like I have said that about you, like that you are my partner and this is who you are.
Yeah. But
in terms of like personality, like they don't really know that because they don't really like you don't give them a whole lot. Which I don't know. I think that's the whole 10 years we've been together. That's always been what people have said for the most part.
Yeah.
Because like you do kind of like keep to yourself for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of it's also like, I don't know, being ready to like turn on at a given moment.
Yeah.
Because like I can't always be on.
Yeah.
I have to like recharge
yeah.
my battery.
I think we're both kind of like somewhat introverted people.
Yeah.
I always say that I'm like an introverted extrovert or like an extroverted introvert. I don't know which way that goes, but like I like being around people and like I enjoy the company of people, but they don't like a true extrovert would be like recharged by others. Yeah. I'm not really recharged by others. Yeah. I am often very tired at the end of the day dealing with a bunch of people, but
yeah.
I do enjoy people and like what they can do and how, you know, the good side of people, like people being like compassionate and kind and understanding and like thoughtful and, thought-provoking things. I very much enjoy that. More like cerebral, I guess, that type of stuff, which is why I'm a big reader. But I like thinking about things.
Yeah.
Which is both good and bad for my anxiety, but
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah.
I mean, not for your anxiety, but like,
yeah.
I'm just saying I'm the same way.
Yeah, you're the same way. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. There you trying not to be misconstrued again.
Well, okay, there are some moments where it's just like I need to clarify
Yeah, fair.
what I meant by that, because otherwise there's a way for it to be misunderstood, and be taken offensively, which I'm not trying to offend you.
That's okay. I'm not offended.
Okay.
uh,
That's why I'm an over-explainer.
yeah. Yeah. Do you ever feel like that's a little in vain on the internet? Not necessarily in personal life, but on the internet.
Yes, which is why if I'm going to over-explain myself, I'm going to do it because I want to do it, not because I feel like this will clear me of all misunderstanding. Like
all potential misdeeds.
Yeah, like I understand that like there are some people that will be committed to misunderstanding.
Yeah, determined.
So like
make it happen.
If I get that sense from you, then so be it. I'm not going to expect to
step away.
Yeah.
Yeah, step away, please.
You do you, and I'm going to do me.
Yeah.
So
I often wonder too that's a big thing that like with my anxiety that I do worry about sometimes being misunderstood, but also there's a part of me that I don't know if this is like the non-anxiety part of my brain. Well, I'm just like, fuck that. Like because like my anxiety is very much like, oh, like they could misinterpret that, they could do this, they could do that, like it's all worry. But then like the other part of my brain is like, well, fuck that, like who the fuck cares?
No, I get
like,
I'm the same way where it's like fuck it, let them do it.
Yeah,
let them be that way.
That's actually a book I want to read. It's literally called Let Them.
I thought I heard something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a book or just something else, but yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where there needs to be a balancing act of that, because you cannot worry about every little thing you say constantly, because if you do, you will just be doing that your whole fucking day.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting. And I often do that. That sucks. Don't recommend it.
Yeah.
But that's why like sometimes you just have to be like, sometimes things are what they are, and like you have to be kind to yourself and be like, hey, I might have not said the right thing at the right time, at the right moment, or done the right thing constantly, but I'm trying to be better.
Oh, I'm terrible at that. Like I will dissect my own self at the end of the day and be like, I should have said this in this way.
Same.
That this thing I said definitely got misconstrued.
It's too relatable. This is why we're together.
Yeah.
We're like two peas in a pod.
Yeah. Which is why I say quiet, because I'm just like, I am going to find the right words the first time around.
I guess I'm committed to fumbling through it, I guess. A lot of the time. I would rather do badly, I think.
See, the fumbling, though, haunts me at night. So so that's why I try to get it right the first time.
But I don't know. That's just different ways of doing it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are definitely some times where I'm like sitting ruminating up, at least, yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Ruminating like up at night about like, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, but ultimately like I always kind of lean on, you can always do better the next day, and you can always apologize. You can always, if things were really that bad, like you can always make it better a lot of the time. That doesn't necessarily mean that the person will forgive you or XYZ. But again, I always try to lead with my best foot forward. And I do think that oftentimes, like, since people tend to know that about me, even if I do like misstep, it's usually looked at in like better regard than just because I don't often mean to be like ignorant or like misspeaking or whatever. Like I try to be generally aware. Obviously that's not always possible, but I always try to do better
Yeah.
if I have not done as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a little anecdote story here. When I was a young boy in school, like I'm talking like kindergarten, first, second, whenever you were starting to learn how to
Baby.
write things. Yeah, maybe a little bit, maybe like second grade, maybe.
Okay, like so 7-ish,
Yeah,
8-ish.
and like I'm like writing stuff down like doing my homework and
Little
stuff.
you doing cursive.
Yeah. My mom would always like check over my homework, and she did not like seeing me use an eraser. She didn't want to see a lot of erasure marks because she wanted me to get it right the first time. And I do think that little sentiment has had many ripple effects as to how I do things now. That's where her perfectionist side shows, and how it's like developed into like my own,
and how it bled into you
and how
as her
like
son.
Yeah, how like what we were talking about, how like you're okay to fumble through it, and like maybe like you're building up that experience to like maybe be better at it in the future, whereas like I'm just like, oh hell no, I make that mistake once, I do not want to fucking make it again.
Yeah. That's the thing. I also relate to that because I used to be like that to the point where I wouldn't do anything really because I was too afraid to try. But I do definitely. The older I get, the more I'm like, everybody was bad at something once.
Yeah.
Like, and to get better, you must proceed and continue and move forward. So, I feel like that. I feel like that is something I always try to like hold on to.
Yeah, and I specifically remember having a classmate who would fucking use his eraser so fucking much.
No eraser at the end of the day.
I hated his guts because I'm just like, because like my mom hated when I was using erasers, so then I transferred that hate to him,
that
being
you
like,
were like, I hated his guts.
no, okay,
Jesus.
I said that for comedic effect. I didn't hate him, although
I know.
I did find him a little bit annoying, but like in hindsight, I wasn't very fair to him. So
Yeah.
sorry, Hans.
His name was Hans.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Maybe he had like. He like didn't think anything through, and then he just kept erasing or something. Oh.
So you're saying he was a stupid kid?
No,
okay, I'm kidding.
Definitely not saying he's stupid. Definitely saying that like his brain probably, his hand wrote faster than his brain was working.
Yeah. He's a kid, like we were kids.
Yeah,
like,
you were kids. Yeah,
we were just kids.
Exactly.
Trying
I can picture that though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's crazy how that bleeds into even like the classroom, right?
I don't think I've ever told you that story. I think you're first hearing that here on the pod.
I'm gonna be thinking about that for a little bit. Like, how does this explain your family dynamic? To be fair, though, you have a lot of stories like that where like small moments that you believe are small when it comes to parenting, and we are not parents, but we have the perspective of like obviously being parented because we're grown adults who were parented by people, right? But it's funny how like those small moments are often what you remember as a kid. Like those moments where you're like, wow, that has informed so much of like who I became and who I'm like becoming, even as far back as that. Like, because that was when you were like, what, 7? So like, that's crazy how even that is something that has really informed a lot of like your perfectionism and like your need to please and things like that. Yeah, I definitely. I think a little bit of a like not exactly a tangent, but something like kind of revolving around like perfectionism is, I think some of my perfectionism were really tied to like not so much my mom but my dad, because my dad always like, especially when he was helping with homework or something, like it's like he didn't understand like why I wasn't getting certain things, and like I have like a few learning disabilities, so it's like it's like he didn't get it, and that made me feel like, not great, obviously. And then I always had like my mom being the one who was like encouraging and like being like, oh, you're so smart and like all these things. And my dad never ever overtly said, oh, I think you're stupid. He never said that. But I do think that like that was still the messaging that I received, like when he would be like so frustrated when I was doing homework. Like it got to the point where like he couldn't even help me with homework because it was that bad. Like it got very frustrating for me and for him. And then that I eventually, like as an adult, like grew up to realize that like this person who I thought was like, he was upholding like a certain standard for himself, like of perfectionism, was because, tying this back to your mom, was because my grandmother, his mom, also held him to that standard. And like, and it was always like a bit of cognitive dissonance because my dad would say one thing, but then he would make me feel another way. And that was always sort of the issue, where he'd be like, oh no, like you're smart, you're this, you're that, like, you're great. But then like he would make me feel really stupid when I couldn't understand something. Or like we did it over and over and over again, not realizing that that was the learning disability. That was the point. Like that's why it was hard for me. And so like, but as an adult, that got easier to manage because I realized that my dad is also incredibly fallible. Like he's not perfect. Like, and so that in a way was healing to realize, because that also meant I could be imperfect and be like, more grace for myself. Just because my dad doesn't have it for himself, or sometimes anybody else, it doesn't mean I can't have it for me or for you or for any other human. So,
right.
Yeah.
I do think there's nuance there where like, just because, okay, I go two ways with this. Just because you can do something doesn't mean, and even if you can do it well, doesn't mean you can also then teach it to someone else and teach it well.
Yeah.
That's where like,
yeah,
people who specialize in teaching specifically, that's valuable. That's a skill. That's,
yeah, for sure.
It's definitely undervalued in our society for sure. Shoot, I was trying to think of the other thing I was gonna say. If you can do something and you can do it well, that doesn't mean like others are you as well and can do it just as well as you. I know there's that whole saying of like, well, if I can do it, you can do it too. That's not always true.
That isn't. Yeah, that's not always true.
Not always true.
Yeah, and it's not always a good way to do things because, yeah, like I think the belief that other people can do things like that is okay. Like that's fine. That can be like encouraging and like really motivating.
I see it from an encouraging standpoint. Yeah, that's fine in itself, but it can. Again, here's a nuance. Like it can be used to almost be dismissive.
100%. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It's like you don't see that I have this ability, and you're just saying that I can do it, and
yeah, it's not as simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, because you're right, I can do it, but I require some help.
I need to do it another way, or a different way, or my own way.
Exactly, and that was always the when it came to like my dad, it's something that I don't think, at least when I was like younger, he probably understands it quite a bit more now, but when I was younger, I don't really think he understood that so much to the point that like he just couldn't help me anymore because it was just bad.
Yeah.
And like, and that's the stuff that gets implanted on your brain.
Yeah.
Like that messaging, right?
Oh yeah.
And so eventually, like, I sort of deconstructed and like unraveled that, like, for myself, and like, and that, in weird ways, like, gave me like more compassion, for both my parents, but particularly my dad, that like, he didn't have a great role model either. So, but that doesn't mean that it still wasn't painful for me.
Right.
That kind of thing, that both truths can be true.
Yeah.
Just like with your mom, it's like, just because, you did eventually get to a point where like you understand where you're at with your perfectionism, doesn't mean that still isn't rippling effects and still affects you now. And that's still something you're like working within and like trying to work through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the whole thing with nuance. It's finding two truths that are seemingly conflicting with one another, and realizing that they can coexist.
Yeah, that is definitely like the biggest thing where, because sometimes people think things need to be so black and white, but that's not really the case. I feel like most of the time things are like in the middle or like in the gray area.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we end the show by saying, like, in a world where nothing is black and white,
yeah,
it's our job to find that gray area, kind of.
Yeah, because like it is, most things are gray area.
Yeah.
Like two things can be true at once, even if they're, they seem like they may be opposites.
Yeah. Speaking of how we end the show, we are running out of time. We do need to wrap up. So let's do that. Guys, thank you so much for joining us and listening. But if you don't want the party to be over, consider joining us over on Patreon, where we record for a few extra minutes and do extra content after the episode ends. Or if you'd rather, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/nuancedafpod. But if you want a free way to support, consider subscribing to our channel on YouTube, where we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers so that our channel can be monetized. You can find all our links in the description/show notes or at linktree. Fuck. I always almost mess this up, and this is the first time I've actually messed it up. Linktree/nuancedafpod. That is linktr.ee/nuancedafpod. Thank you so much for joining us and listening. And remember, in a world where nothing is black and white, it's our jobs as human beings to find, understand, and be that nuance, because we are all nuanced AF.